Thank you, Francisco. And I would like to thank the organizer for having invited me. And I would like to thank you for having stayed until the very end of the conference. So the work that I'm going to present is a joint work with a couple of people. So let me just explain you how we got all together to work on this. So Berk Birand was a PhD student at Columbia University under the supervision of Zussman, and they are both from the electrical engineering department. And they came up with this problem that we worked on. At that time, Yori he was a PhD student also at Columbia University under the supervision of Maria Chudnovsky. And so we also worked with Paul Seymour from Princeton University. So let me first explain you how we got to the question that we were actually working on. And as you would see, it's a question which is not the standard question or problem that we are normally working on. So let me briefly explain. So suppose you have a wireless network. A wireless network is just an undirected graph with a vertex set V and an edge set E. The vertices represent the transmitters or the receivers, or the computers or users if you want. And the edges represent wireless connections. In other words, if you have an edge between two vertices U and V, it means that the two users, U and V, they can transmit information from one to the other via that connection. We suppose that at every edge, so at every connection, we have a queue with packets that are waiting to be sent, okay, between the two users of that connection. And we also suppose that these queues, they fill up by independent stochastic processes with certain arrival rates. So lambda UV if you have a connection between U and V. So I just put the drawing here. So here you have a wireless network. So just an undirected graph. You have the users, you have the wireless connections. And well, here I associated the queues with the vertices and not with the edges, but it doesn't matter, it's exactly the same. So for instance, for this vertex, you have packets that wait to be sent to the neighbor 4, and you have packets that wait to be sent to neighbor 2, and they arrive with a certain arrival rate. So typically, if you have such a wireless networks where you have packets to be transmitted from one user to the other, you have a scheduling problem. Because you ask whether it's possible to schedule the transmissions, and here the goal is to schedule them in such a way that the queues, they do not blow up. In other words, you want to control the length of the queues. Okay, so if you have a queue where you have a lot of packets waiting, you want to activate the corresponding connection very